Little Johnny was starting his first day at a new school, and his father called the teacher to tell her that little Johnny was a big gambler. She said that it was no problem, and she has seen worse than that. After little Johnny's first day at his new school, his father called the teacher to see how it went. She said, "I think I broke his gambling." The father asked how, and she said, "He bet me $5 that I had a mole on my butt, so I pulled down my pants and won his money." "Damn," said the father. "What's wrong?" the teacher asked. Little Johnny's father said, "This morning he bet me $100 he would see his teachers, but before the day was over."
So little Johnny's teacher is warned at the beginning of the school year not to ever make a bet with Johnny unless she is absolutely sure she will win it. One day in class, Johnny raises his hand and says, "Teacher, I'll bet you $50 I can guess what color your underwear is." She replies, "Okay, meet me after class and we'll settle it." But before class ends, she goes to the restroom and removes her panties. After class is over and the students clear out, Johnny makes his guess. Blue. "Nope. You got it wrong," she says as she lifts her skirt to reveal she isn't wearing any underwear. "Well, come with me out to my dad's car, he's waiting for me, and I'll get you the money." She follows him out. When they get to the car, she informs his dad that he got the bet wrong and that she showed Johnny that she wasn't wearing any underwear. His dad exclaims, "That mother He bet me $100 this morning that he'd see your pee before the end of the day."
Little Johnny is constantly late for school, and what's worse is that he always has a big lie explaining why. The teacher tells the principal that she has had it with his exaggerations. The principal tells her to send Johnny to him the next time he shows up late. He will tell Johnny a lie so big that he will never tell another one. Ever. The next day, Johnny shows up 2 hours late. Johnny says, "I was 2 hours early today so I had time to fish in the pond on my way to school. I caught a 17-pound trout and had to take it home. If I didn't clean it and freeze it, my mom would have been angry. That's why I'm so late." The teacher promptly takes him to the principal's office and explains the story to the principal. The principal tells Johnny about his own trip to school that day. He says, "I was walking to school through the park on the trail today when I heard something behind me. I turned around and was shocked to see a giant grizzly bear behind me. He was 24 feet tall and had 6-inch fangs. He was going to eat me, Johnny." Just then a little dog ran out from the bushes, jumped up and attacked the bear. The little dog killed the bear and then ate the whole bear right there in front of me. "What do you think of that, Johnny?" Johnny replies, "Oh yeah, that's my dog Sparky. That's his third bear this week."
A man staggers into an emergency room with 2 black eyes and a 5-iron wrapped tightly around his throat. Naturally, the doctor asks him what happened. "Well, it was like this," said the man. "I was having a quiet round of golf with my wife when she sliced her ball into a pasture of cows. We went to look for it, and while I was rooting around, I noticed one of the cows had something white at its rear end. I walked over and lifted up the tail, and sure enough, there was my wife's golf ball stuck right in the middle of the cow's butt. That's when I made my mistake." "What did you do?" asks the doctor. "Well, I lifted the tail and yelled to my wife, 'Hey, this looks like yours.'"
A father passing by his son's bedroom was astonished to see the bed was nicely made and everything was picked up. Then, he saw an envelope, propped up prominently on the pillow. It was addressed, "Dad." With the worst premonition, he opened the envelope and read the letter, with trembling hands. "Dear Dad, it is with great regret and sorrow that I'm writing you. I had to elope with my new girlfriend, because I wanted to avoid a scene with Mom and you. I've been finding real passion with Stacy. She is so nice, but I knew you would not approve of her because of all her piercings, tattoos, her tight motorcycle clothes, and because she is so much older than I am. But it's not only the passion, Dad. She's pregnant. Stacy said that we will be very happy. She owns a trailer in the woods, and has a stack of firewood for the whole winter. We share a dream of having many more children. Stacy has opened my eyes to the fact that marijuana doesn't really hurt anyone. We'll be growing it for ourselves and trading it with the other people in the commune for all the cocaine and ecstasy we want. In the meantime, we'll pray that science will find a cure for AIDS so that Stacy can get better. She sure deserves it. Don't worry, Dad, I'm 15, and I know how to take care of myself. Someday, I'm sure we'll be back to visit so you can get to know your many grandchildren. Love, your son, Joshua. Dad, none of the above is true. I'm over at Jason's house. I just wanted to remind you that there are worse things in life than the school report that's on the kitchen table. Call when it is safe for me to come home.
On the first day of college, the dean addressed the students, pointing out some of the rules. The female hostel will be prohibited for all male students, and the male dormitory to the female students. Anybody caught breaking this rule will be fined $50 the first time. He continued, anybody caught breaking this rule the second time will be fined $100. Being caught a third time will incur a hefty fine of $200. Are there any questions? At this, a male student in the crowd inquired, how much for a season pass? A blonde is overweight, so her doctor puts her on a diet. I want you to eat regularly for 2 days, then skip a day, and repeat the procedure for 2 weeks. The next time I see you, you'll have lost at least 5 pounds. When the blonde returns, she's lost nearly 20 pounds. Why, that's amazing, the doctor says. Did you follow my instructions? The blonde nods. I'll tell you, though, I thought I was going to drop dead that third day. From hunger, you mean, said the doctor. No, from skipping, replied the blonde.
A married man was spending the afternoon with his girlfriend when she asked that he shave his beard. I do like your beard, John, but I would really love to see your handsome face, she said. My wife loves this beard, honey, he replied. I couldn't possibly shave it. She would kill me. Oh, please, his girlfriend purred. Really, I can't, he replied. My wife loves this beard. The girlfriend asked once more, and he sighed and finally gave in. That night, John crawled into bed with his wife while she was sleeping. His wife stirred, felt his face, and said, Oh, Robert, you shouldn't be here. My husband will be home soon. A rather attractive woman goes up to the bar in a quiet rural pub. She gestures alluringly to the barman who comes over immediately. When he arrives, she seductively signals that he should bring his face close to hers. When he does so, she begins to gently caress his beard, which is full and bushy. Are you the manager? She asks, softly stroking his face with both hands. Actually, no, he replies. Can you get him for me? I need to speak to him, she says, running her hands up beyond his beard and into his hair. I'm afraid I can't, breathes the barman, clearly aroused. Is there anything I can do? Yes, there is. I need you to give him a message, she continues huskily, popping a couple of fingers into his mouth and allowing him to suck them. Tell him, she says, that there is no toilet paper or hand soap in the ladies' toilet.
A 3-year-old walks over to a pregnant lady while waiting with his mother in a doctor's surgery. Why is your stomach so big? He asks. I am having a baby. She replies. Is the baby in your stomach? He asks, with his big eyes. Yes, it is. She says. Is it a good baby? He asks, with a puzzled look. Oh, yes. A really good baby. The lady replies. Shocked and surprised, he asks, then why did you eat him? A blonde, brunette, and redhead mom go to a cafe. They had each stolen their daughter's purses to see what their girls did in their free time. The redhead mom opens her daughter's purse first and finds a pack of cigarettes. Oh my God, Debbie smokes. I am going to kill her. The brunette mom opens her daughter's purse second, holding up a half-smoked joint. Lindsay smokes pot? How could she? The blonde mom rifles through her daughter's purse next and pulls out an empty C***er. The other moms stare at her for a few moments before she puts her hand over her mouth. Holy T. Cindy has a K.
Mr. Wilson comes home one night, and his wife throws her arms around his neck. I have great news. I'm a month overdue. I think we're going to have a baby. The doctor gave me a test today, but until we find out for sure, we can't tell anybody. The next day, Mrs. Wilson receives a telephone call from AEC, Atlanta Electric Company, because the electricity bill has not been paid. Am I speaking to Mrs. Wilson? Yes. Speaking. AEC guy. You're a month overdue, you know. How do you know? Stammers the young woman. Well, ma'am, it's in our files, says the AEC guy. What are you saying? It's in your files. How? Yes. We have a system of finding out who's overdue. God! This is too much. Madam, I am sorry. I am following orders. I have to inform you are overdue. I know that. Let me talk to my husband about this tonight. He will speak to your company tomorrow. That night, she tells her husband about the call, and he, mad as a bull, rushes to AEC office the next day morning. What's going on? You have it on file that my wife is a month overdue? What business is that of yours? The husband shouts. Just calm down, says the lady at the reception at AEC. It's nothing serious. All you have to do is pay us. Pay you? And if I refuse? Well, in that case, sir, we'd have no option but to cut yours off. And what would my wife do then? The husband asks. I don't know. I guess she'd have to use a candle. A woman starts dating a doctor. Before too long, she becomes pregnant, and they don't know what to do. About 9 months later, just about the time she is going to give birth, a priest goes into the hospital. The doctor says to the woman, I know what we'll do. After I've operated on the priest, I'll give the baby to him and tell him it was a miracle. Do you think it will work? She asks. It's worth a try, he says. So, the doctor delivers the baby and then operates on the priest. After the operation, he goes into the priest and says, Father, you're not going to believe this. What? Asks the priest. What happened? You gave birth to a child. But that's impossible, says the priest. I just did the operation, insists the doctor. It's a miracle. Here's your baby. About 15 years go by, and the priest realizes he must tell his son the truth. One day, he sits the boy down and says, Son, I have something to tell you. I'm not your father. The son says, What do you mean, you're not my father? The priest replies, I am your mother, the archbishop is your father.
There is only one mom. At school, the children were given the topic, There is only one mom, for their homework. On the second day at school, Daisy reads her homework. My mom is good, she takes care of us, looks after us. There is only one such mother. Frank reads the homework. No mom is as good as mine. She works everything for us, and she is also very beautiful and kind. It's Johnny's turn to read his homework. When I came home yesterday, the apartment door was open. My little brother was in the cradle and he was crying. Mom was in bed with the neighbor. When she saw me, she asked me to bring her 2 beers from the fridge. I went to the fridge and saw that there was only 1 beer. I shouted to her, There is only one, Mom. A mom and her daughter were taking a cab across town. On the way, they drove by a couple of ladies of the night, standing on a corner, provocatively dressed and looking for business. The inquisitive little girl asked, Mom, what are those ladies doing there? The mom replied, They're waiting for a bus. The cab driver interjected, Lady, tell her the truth. She looks old enough to me. The little girl glared at her mom and said, I am 8 years old now. So the mother, exasperated, replied to the little girl, Well, you know how you learned about how babies are made? Those ladies are paid money by the men and try to make a baby with them. The little girl thought about this for a moment and then replied, "What happens to all those babies?" Without missing a beat, the mother said loudly, "They grow up to be cab drivers."
Mom and Dad go away on vacation. Mom called her son every day to see how everything is going at home. Her son explains, "Hi Mom, mostly fine here, but the cat died on Monday." Mom was distraught. "How can you break news like this to me so nonchalantly? Are you a psychopath?" The son replies, "I'm sorry Mom, I didn't know how to break it to you." Mom then explains, "In future if you have bad news to break, you need to break it gently. You could have told me that the cat climbed up on the roof. Then the next day you could tell me that the fire department came to get it down. The day after that you could say the cat fell and had to go to the vet. Then, the next day, you could say that the cat has had surgery. Then, finally you could say that the cat had complications from surgery and had to be put down. I would have been better prepared for that. Please keep this in mind in future." Again, the son apologized and they ended the call. 2 days later, Mom called again to see how things were going. The son replied, "Grandma climbed up onto the roof." Hey there. I put a lot of effort into making these videos, so please subscribe for more jokes and stay happy. Thank you.